Yeah, so this is my fig orchard. This is White Madeira #1. It's got just started, I noticed tonight, with tiny figs, about slightly bigger than the size of a BB. This is Biziri #3, or no, I'm sorry, Biziri large. This is an unknown that was supposed to be Coldodon Blanca Negra, but is, well, I call it unknown Pons sugar fig. It came from Pons. This is Violette de Bordeaux. This is Pastillary, and it didn't freeze back as much as nearly all my other ones. There's a fair amount of wood that was still viable, and it has quite a few figs that are forming. You can see a few there, and I really like this tree for growing in ground. It's very early. This is Black Greek Marius or Dark Greek Marius, I forget. Another excellent tree. This is Alma. It froze back more than most of them, and I suspect won't make any fruit. It might make fruit late. This is Brooklyn White. It also had a decent amount of viable wood, and it's coming back pretty good. It's got some small figs that are forming as well, main crop. This is Sal's EL. It was not protected, and it did freeze back quite a bit, unfortunately. Same thing with Marseille VS, Marseille Black VS. Was not protected. This is Laredex Brown Turkey. It's got some small figs forming. This is Improved Celeste. This is Malta Black. It had quite a decent amount of wood that was viable, and it has some Bravas, which might be in the process of dropping. This one probably will drop, yes. And this one probably will drop. So, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed by that. There was about 5 Bravas, and they've kind of just one by one been showing signs of dropping. This is an unknown from Connecticut. It's probably, this is the name, I can't pronounce it. It's probably a Mount Etna type. Maybe it's not a Mount Etna type. Those leaves don't look that much like Mount Etna leaves to me. This is an unknown that I got from Bass called Shoof, and it had a branch that was viable that kind of came out like this, and it has figs forming. This one kind of behaves like a Mount Etna, but it's a slow growing Mount Etna. But I had the figs 2 years ago, and I was very impressed with them. This gives you just kind of a big picture view of what the orchard looks like, and there's a lot of other things here besides figs, but this is the northern Rasti Northern Persian Unknown, and it had just its first winter in ground, and it did freeze back quite a bit, but that's very common when you plant a fig, and doesn't put on all that much growth because it's developing its root system, and then it dies back a lot. So, but I think in the future it'll do a lot better. This is Rondi de Bordeaux. I actually have 2. This is the older one, which came from Brugmansia Nursery in Quebec, and supposedly comes from Baud. This one over here I got from Carrie, who from New Hampshire, otherwise known as Driveway Farmer. Kind of seems to me like the leaves are different, and I don't know why that would be. Maybe they're the same, maybe they're not. This is Sicilian Red. It's probably not got figs forming yet, but it should very soon. This is a really, really good honey fig, which is another unknown, which I got from, well, it's not, I'm sorry, it's not an unknown. It's called Sucrete, and it came from Pons. but it's not the secret that most people know by that name. It's a honey fig. It's not a green fig with red pulp. So I don't know. Who knows what this fig is, but it has figs forming. It seems to be pretty cold hardy. This branch here survived the winter, and it's coming back pretty strong. So I think I'll get a good crop off of that one. This is Della Reina. This one pretty much froze to the ground and it's coming back. Might get some figs off of it late. It's a pretty productive variety, but when it freezes back that much, it's going to be quite late. This is Pontressa. Don't know if there's any figs forming. I have Pontressa in a container, and there's definitely figs forming on it. I don't see any yet, but I think that they will be coming soon. This is Long Doubt, along with some comfrey. And don't see any figs forming. But this is Niagara Black, which I think is the same fig, basically. I see one fig forming somewhere down here. I spotted it yesterday. Right there, yeah. So, it'll be late. Both of those, this was just one winter in ground and then it pretty much froze down. This one was not protected, pretty much froze down almost all the way. This is Sister Madeline's Green Greek, first winter in the ground. Actually, some wood did make it. It was protected with this compost ring, so it might bear some figs late. This is Basilica Sica from Herman 2. Not sure if it'll produce anything. This one was the most affected by the cold this year. This is Blanche de Deux Saisons, French fig, and I thought it may have completely died, but there is this shoot coming up. So this is the first winter in ground for this one, and it did not do well. This is Medina, a fig that came from Sergio Carlino. I can't remember his last name, but it came from Italy, and it's pretty much an unknown. It behaves a bit like Dalmatie, or Stella, or Basilica Sica Belclair in that group. This is what is it? Noir de Barmataine. And it also froze down quite a bit. It's coming back, who knows? Probably won't produce anything this year. This is an unknown from some friends of mine who got it from a nursery, and they said it was supposed to have been a black mission, I think. And obviously, it looks to me much more like Violette de Bordeaux. The figs are much more like that too. But it seemed to be whatever. I thought maybe it was a more cold hardy strain of Violette de Bordeaux than usual. So I decided to try it here. This is Saint Rita, and it mostly froze down to almost to the ground, but not quite, and it's coming back pretty strong. I bet it will produce some figs. It's got a few tiny figs forming, I noticed. So that's this fig orchard. I'll stop.